I'm the Director of Marketing for Residential Products for ClimateMaster. I'm going to ask Adam Golson to confirm that you can hear me. Okay. So let's get started. If you have any questions, please pose either a question in the window or raise your hand. I have the window here where I can see if someone's raised their hand. And again, if you have any questions, please ask. So welcome to the webinar for launching the GeoElite Dealer Program. As you know, we kind of did a soft launch of GeoElite last year, where we launched the benefits of GeoElite, which was getting designated as a GeoElite dealer on the dealer locator, and also getting preferential treatment on leads. And as we looked at the program and met with dealers and got more feedback, we decided to strengthen the program with the focus of kind of strengthening it and giving a lot more importance and get more loyalty from our biggest dealers. Before I jump into that, I want to kind of introduce you to the agenda this morning, and I'm going to try to go through it as quickly as possible, and then open up for questions at the end. Again, if you have questions, just raise your hand and I will stop, but I try to keep the questions till the end. I'll introduce you to the GeoElite program and why we are doing it, the benefits of the program, the criteria for enrolling dealers, how the 5% co-op and claiming will work, which is one of the benefits, the 100% satisfaction guarantee and how that works. We'll talk a little bit about the consumer satisfaction survey, truck decals, and conclude and introduce you to the documents as well. So we launched the GeoElite program, as I said, last year. This year we're kind of revamping it, and the first thing we're doing is we're also updating the logo. We wanted to go for a much cleaner, better look, a logo that would look good on a truck or on a technician or a salesperson's sleeve. So this is a new logo for the GeoElite program. Mainly we have enhanced it for 2013, and I'm going to talk more about it, and it's a lot stronger. We have added benefits like 100% satisfaction guarantee for consumers on the equipment, more co-op and preferential treatment in other areas. And the idea is to focus on this program is to focus on our largest dealers who are willing to invest along with us. And that's one of the reasons we have increased the co-op. So we believe this program is going to be a really good tool in our distributors' arsenal to retain their best dealers and also attract the best dealers in the industry to become a ClimateMaster dealer. Here are the benefits, and sorry if it's a little crowded, but I wanted to make sure we fit all the benefits on a page. The first one is we are going to continue investing in lead generation and probably step it up again this year, primarily on the digital area. And as those leads get generated, we're going to give preferential treatment to GeoElite dealers. So on the dealer list that you have, and you can access the dealer list from the dealer portal, you'll see that you have assigned certain counties to those dealers as to where they get leads from. So if a consumer calls from a certain county, we look at the list of dealers you have assigned to that county, and we send them a lead. Well, in the past, we've rotated through those dealers, so not all the dealers got all the leads. Now, every lead that we get for that county is going to go to a GeoElite dealer. And if there are non-GeoElite dealers, we'll rotate through them. But the idea is not to send too many leads to the county. So we're going to ask you to limit the number of GeoElite dealers, preferably just one assigned per county, but maximum of 3, because we are going to add 2 more copies of the same lead so that the non-GeoElite guys get some leads. So you can imagine if you had more than 1 or 2 GeoElite dealers in a county, that means, let's say, take an example of 3 GeoElite. That means we're going to take a lead and we're going to make 5 copies of the same lead. The GeoElite guys will get all of them, and the rest of them will rotate through and get it. So we're now generating 5 copies of the same lead. We expect that's going to be a problem with our dealers. So we would ask you to seriously take a look at the GeoElite dealers you're designating and the counties that you're assigning to them, and try not to have too much overlap between the counties among dealers. And as you go through the mechanics of it, we will try to help you out with it and guide you with it. The next one is benefit is the dealer locator. So as of today, we have removed all the old GeoElite dealers off the dealer locator, and based on who's signing up, we will add those back to the dealer locator. But they're going to show up first on a list, depending on what radius the consumer is looking for. The GeoElite dealers show up first, so we are kind of giving them a premium positioning. The next one is new for the program, which is 100% consumer satisfaction for the first installed year on equipment. And there's a couple of caveats here that are very important to understand. The first one is it's only for the first year. The second thing is the unit needs to have broken. It's not working. It's not a consumer complaint that I'm not comfortable, that and this. The unit needs to be not working. So it's basically an enhanced warranty. The third condition is that it's only on the equipment. It doesn't cover the loops, doesn't cover accessories, doesn't cover ductwork. So when we look at the form, you will see that you have the total install cost of the job, and then there's another area on the form where you have the amount of money that the homeowner will get refunded. So that information will be upfront. The consumer, it will be visible to the consumer. It's not that we're hiding it, but you need to understand it only covers the equipment. And I'll walk you through a little more mechanics on that later. But we believe the reason we put this in is, especially in areas where people may have had issues with geothermal in general, this should help relieve some of their concerns and take that objection off of the table and help you make more sales, or help the dealer make more sales. The next one is we want to increase our advertising locally, and we believe the dealers and you know locally what works best to generate leads. So we're focusing our advertising and all of our marketing more around lead generation, and to enhance that, we are increasing the co-op budget to 5% from a standard 2% for your GeoElite dealers. And I'll walk you through the mechanics of how this would work, but basically it works based on your sales to GeoElite dealers, and taking a certain percent off, we will assign more co-op to you. The claiming still remains the same, where you get 50-50, 50 from you or the dealer, 50% from us. And I'll clearly walk you through the math there, and hopefully it'll be clear. The next one is when the trilogy is ready. We've had some issues with the trilogy, a couple of technical issues with components, which we had not foreseen. So the trilogy launch is right now on hold on selling more units. But when they're available, our idea is until further notice, the trilogy would be exclusive to GeoElite dealers to give them a little bit of a benefit in the market. But I'll cross that bridge when we get to it. The next one is there's a little possibility of having a misunderstanding with the expedited warranty parts delivery. It's actually expedited parts shipment. So for any parts order we receive from a distributor by 2 p.m. Central Time, those parts, if they're in stock, they will be shipped the same day. So here's the two caveats, and I try to keep these things as clear and transparent as possible. The first one is the part needs to be in stock. If it's not, we will work hard to get the part in stock and get it out, but this guarantee doesn't apply to parts that are not in stock. So that reduces this benefit, and I want to be upfront about it. The second thing is it is not paying for expedited freight. All it's doing is getting the part out on ground or regular delivery. If you want air freight or something else, it's the same process where you or the dealer pick up the expedited shipping charges. So I'm going to try to change that language before I put this presentation back out. Last two are we are going to survey the consumers. The reason I put this as a benefit for a dealer is they will get quantitative feedback as to how they did with that consumer. So if I'm the owner of a dealership, and I'm assuming GeoElite dealers could possibly be a little bigger, is the owner gets some feedback as to how the jobs are going and how satisfied consumers are, and it gives you an opportunity, the dealers an opportunity to go and fix the issue. And from our side, it also ensures that the GeoElite dealers are not only getting all the benefits, but they're also delivering value to the homeowners. The last one is, in order to program ClimateMaster, promote ClimateMaster and GeoElite, we will be giving free truck decals to GeoElite dealers, and we'll talk about that program towards the end. Now, before I go forward, another caveat I want to be clear on is we're starting out with this program. So this program is effective for the year 2013. As we learn things, as we make improvements or learn upside or downside, we will probably make some changes in 2014. So please try to clarify that to your dealers that this is a 2013 program and it's subject to change in 2014. Okay, the next thing is the criteria as to, okay, who qualifies as a GeoElite dealer. The first one is we are stipulating that they sell at least 15 units a year. Now, I understand for certain markets where geothermal is a lot more saturated, 15 units may not be a lot. I'd request you to work with your district manager to, if you want to increase that number so that you keep only the elite in the program, make sure you work with your district manager so everybody in your area, if you have multiple distributors, follow the same rules. So this is where the district manager's role becomes very important. The next thing is training. We're requiring that they have at least have had 202 core training in the prior 3 years and have attended the iGate vFlow system training since we've launched it. Now, I just want to promote here that we are going to have a train the trainer for ClimateMaster distributors on April 2nd through 4th here in Oklahoma City. And this train the trainer is different from earlier ones where we are developing new modules with new information and new training for you to deliver to your dealers. So I would, if you are not in charge of training, I would request you to ask the folks responsible for training to look at the e-news we sent out a few days ago and come to that train the trainer training. So that's on the training side. The third one is exclusivity. We expect that the GeoElite dealer must sell only ClimateMaster products where offered. They cannot advertise or display geothermal competitors' brands. Now, they have air source brands. Obviously, they will have them on the website. Now, again, in the spirit of true transparency, we added that sentence where offered as an important caveat. So if there's a product that we don't offer and the dealer sells that product of the competition, we are okay with it. We just don't want a GeoElite dealer promoting another brand on their website. So the caveat to the exclusivity is on products that we don't offer. So there may be holes in the water-to-water line. We don't have a triple function unit. In those cases, it's okay. The next one is the number of dealers per county. I try to explain the logic here. We would suggest that when you give us the list of GeoElite dealers and you pick their counties, try to make sure that there isn't much overlap between the GeoElite dealers, just so that we don't send out too many copies of the same lead. Just to give you an example, when we started the GeoElite program last year, we got from one of the distributors 6 GeoElite dealers in one county. That means we are sending 8 copies of the same lead. That means they're tripping over each other on the same lead. They're calling the same homeowner, and I don't think any of us, if I were a dealer, I would not be happy about that. The next one, and this is very important, is we now have an annual fee of $1,800 for the program. And the way we are going to do this is instead of collecting it directly from the dealer, when you sign up a GeoElite dealer, you will pay us $1,800 along with the application. And you can collect it from the dealer. You can chop it up into 12 equal installments, or you can collect it all together from the dealer. You can collect it from the dealer. Just to be clear, these fees are to cover some of our expenses, so we will not co-op this $1,800. I will repeat this. We will not co-op the 1,800 dealers. So there are 3 things that we are going to, I'll go through the process next, but we also have a participation agreement for GeoElite dealers. So that's an agreement between the dealer and us so that we cover our liability in case they have a bad install or something. So we'll talk about where that form is. So we will require the fee the form, the agreement, and the list of dealers and the counties they are covering as part of enrolling the dealers back into this. And I'll talk about that more on the next slide. And the last one is you are free to impose any other conditions, criteria that you want in your market. So that is why we've tried to keep the distributor documents separate from the dealer documents, because you may want to add more things to it. So we want to give you flexibility of how you administer this program within your market. All we are saying is you have to meet these minimums. If you want to do other things, you can use this umbrella to do it. The next one is process. How do we sign up a GeoElite dealer? What's the process? The submission is going to come through your district manager. And here's the things that we want you to do. The first one is, and in the e-news, we had a link to the dealer database where you can log in and get all of your dealers. I will add that link to this presentation before I send it out. So basically, go pull down your dealers, see which counties they are in, and take the list of dealers who are going to be GeoElite. Now look at the counties and try to make sure as best as you can to make sure that they don't have too much overlap in their counties. The second one is we want you to place a PO for $1,800 multiplied by the GeoElite dealers, the number of GeoElite dealers. When I send this presentation out, I will send out the part number for this GeoElite program. So you would place a PO. The third thing is you would submit all of the agreements, signed agreements from the dealer for the GeoElite program, the participation agreement. And the fourth one is, probably in that same spreadsheet that you give for the dealers, we want to know your geothermal equipment sales. This is an important qualification. Geothermal equipment sales, not parts, not other products, your equipment sales to that dealer, because we are going to use that as a basis to calculate the additional co-op that we're going to put in your account to cover the 5% co-op. Now, the important thing is the district manager is going to review it, make sure everything's okay, and they are going to then send it to us here in the marketing department. We're going to go check their website. We're going to go do other due diligence on our side, and then we will decide if we are going to approve or disapprove them as GeoElite. Just remember, this is very important. Just because you submitted them as a GeoElite dealer to us does not mean that they will automatically become a GeoElite dealer. You have to wait for us to confirm back that they are a GeoElite dealer. And what we're going to do is we'll take the PO that you've given us. Let's say you submitted 10 dealers and 8 dealers qualified. We will invoice you only the $1,800 for those 8 dealers, 1,800 multiplied by 8, not 1,800 multiplied by 10. So that's how we will do it. And once the dealers are approved, they'll be added to the dealer locator. We're working on a certificate or a plaque that designates them as GeoElite for 2013, and we'll do all the things on our side to make sure that they get the preferential treatment. So this is kind of the process that we want to follow. So now this is at the beginning of the process. Let's say you want to add another dealer somewhere in the mid-year. That's fine. You just follow the same process. Take the spreadsheet, tell us which counties they cover, send us the agreement, send us the PO for $1,800, and give us how much sales you had to that dealer last year, and we'll put them in. Now the next question is, what about a new dealer? Well, it's a little trickier, but we'll have the district manager audit this. You give us how many units they bought from a competitor in 2012 and how much you expect them to sell this year. And we want that number to be at least 15 units, if not higher, for them to qualify as GeoElite. And we will rely on the district managers to audit with you how much they bought in 2013 before we renew them for 2014. So this is open for new dealers who are coming in, but we don't want every small bitty dealer designated GeoElite. We want the big, established, good dealers who make good installs to be GeoElite dealers. Before I go into the co-op discussion, I'm going to try to unmute you to see if you have any questions. before I go forward. So I'm going to try to unmute you, or if you could raise your hand. Why don't you raise your hand, and I will take any questions you have before I go forward. Richard, I see you have raised your hand, and Sean, I've raised your hand. So I'm going to take you one by one off mute. I'm going to start with Roger. Roger, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, buddy.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
I'm still, I'm trying to, yeah, I'm just looking at the benefit package. I'm still, as a host member, I'm looking at it through our eyes. And I'm not sure I'm seeing the benefit to drive this nail home as a distributor for the product. I realize you guys are trying to cover some overhead with your $1,800 per dealer, but you know we do our own dealer incentive packages. We put our own programs together with co-op and trip programs and stuff. So I'm not sure how we're going to go out and sell this $1,800 deal to our dealers.
Let me go to a couple more slides down this path. And so
all right, I'll be patient.
No, and I open it up to questions. But what I want to do is I want to show you the math from a distributor's point of view of how little is coming out of your pocket, because I saw some of the emails earlier this week.
Yeah, because it really looks like you're hitting our revenue stream, you know, like we'd almost have to raise our margins in order to compensate for our co-op.
You most probably won't. So let me show you that. And I'm going to talk about the dealer benefit and how do you justify the $1,800. I'll verbalize it, and then I'll put a slide in before I send this out to you. So I appreciate the question, and I'll cover that. Next, I'm going to go to Richard Hiles. Richard, I took you off mute. Can you hear me? Richard, you may be on mute. Okay, Richard, I'm going to put you back on mute and come back to you. I'm going to go to Sean. Sean, I've taken you off mute. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Go ahead, sir. What was your question?
In an area like us up in the Pacific Northwest, where we don't have the population to support that kind of volume of sales, my branch was the second highest branch for ClimateMaster sales last year. My largest dealer sold 9 units.
Okay.
Is there going to be kind of allowance or adjustments on that 15-unit minimum?
Let's do this. Right now, I would say probably not, but I do want to keep the flexibility of having a case-by-case discussion. So I just said both yes and no. I recognize that. But why don't we do this, Sean? Get John Dibble involved, and why don't we have a call separately and take a look at your situation and see what the cost benefit of adding the GeoElite dealer is, and see if we want to work out something slightly different.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't want to commit broadly, because if all 20 distributors come to me with a different deal, I'll get overwhelmed. So that's why I'm being a little wishy-washy about it.
All right.
Okay, and I appreciate the question. Richard Hiles, I'm coming back to you. Can you hear me, or can you talk, or shall I go ahead? Okay. Give me 1 second. I think I have a couple of questions here. Okay. Where are the questions? Yeah, I think I'm going to move on, and I'll answer the questions that you've asked a little later. Okay, moving to the next level, Roger. Here's where I'm going to cover some of the questions that you asked, but you asked another question that I haven't covered. Okay, so here's how the co-op would work. So there's 2 parts to co-op. The first part is setting the budget. So here's an example. Let's say last year you bought $1 million worth of product from us. So this is the distributor purchases from ClimateMaster. Right now, we are giving you 2% co-op, so that's 20% is how much we would put a deposit in your co-op account. So that's what I call budget. And then the next, so now the question is, okay, how does this work? How does it work for GeoElite? Let's say you said your GeoElite sales to the dealer, let's say you picked, I don't know, 3 dealers, and together your sales to those dealers of ClimateMaster products, $600,000. And the one thing that we have done in the program, which is a little kooky, but I think it's going to work at the end, is we are saying we want to base the budget, the co-op that we give you based on your purchase of us. Now, some of your margins may be a little higher, some of them lower, but I'm just going to use an 80% to discount it. So we say, okay, 80% of your dealer sales that were purchases from us. The distributor purchases from ClimateMaster were $480,000. Now, that means at 5%, I thought I'd fix this. At 5%, your co-op for just the GeoElite sales is now $24,000. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to take away the sales from the total sales. Let me use a pointer here. So here's your $1 million sales, and here's your $400 million purchases, and here's the $480,000 purchases. So what I can assign to GeoElite is $480,000. The rest of it's $520,000. So if you take the million, subtract the $480, it's $520,000. So we'll still give you 2% co-op on the non-GeoElite purchases. And then we are going to add another $24,000. This $24,000 comes here. The $24,000 of, which is 5% of the $480,000. So it's this math. So what you'll see in your co-op account, what you'll see in your co-op account is a new balance of $34,000. So right now your balance is 20. Going forward, your balance is going to show as $34,000, assuming you bought $1 million from us and $480,000 of it was GeoElite purchases. So this is how we will set your budget. The tricky part is our IT systems haven't been flexible so far for us to show you your normal co-op budget balance and your GeoElite co-op balance. So we are going to manage that outside the system. So all you're going to see is we're taking money away from this $34,000 as it goes along, but on the side we are going to maintain a spreadsheet where we say, okay, you just made a co-op claim for the 2%, so I'm taking it away from that budget. You just made a GeoElite purchase, and we're taking away from that budget. If you didn't understand or you didn't capture what I just said, at the minimum, this is what I want you to understand. When you make a co-op claim again, what we want to do is we want to make sure that your GeoElite co-op balance is used with GeoElite dealers. We don't want you to take that balance and use it on your overall dealers, but only on your GeoElite dealers. That's why we are taking money away from our profitability and giving it to you. And of course, there's an offsetting 1800. Okay, and so this is how the budget is set. Now, this is how a claim would work. Okay, give me a second. Oops. Sorry about this. Go check with Adam if you can see it. So this is where I was. So you can see the $1 million minus the 480 is the 520, and that's the 24,000 coming there. So this is how your new co-op budget would be set. Now, this is how you would submit the co-op. So let's say setting the budget. So this is your view to your dealer, and I want to kind of take your perspective and say, okay, how is this not going to cost you more money possibly going forward? So let's say we pick dealer X. Your sales to that dealer is $100,000 of ClimateMaster geothermal equipment. So because they're GeoElite, you're giving them 5% co-op, so that's $5,000. Now, if you take the $100,000, your equivalent purchases from ClimateMaster is $80,000 because I'm calculating it at 80%. What I'm assigning to you as a budget is $4,000. and Roger, this is where some of your questions coming from is, I'm going to lose money out of my pocket to cover this cost. And I'll show you how that's most probably not going to be the case, or if it is, what it looks like. So let's look at a claim example before you reach the max, because these are the maximums. These are the budgets. Let's say a dealer, this is a claim, so a dealer spends $1,000 on ClimateMaster advertising. Then you pay the dealer 50% of that cost, which is $500. This budget's the budget. It just sets the max. Now what we do is you turn around and you make a claim with us. Right now you say, my dealer and I have spent $1,000. I'm claiming 50%, so here, give me $500. I don't know how many of you realize this, but this is how our co-op system is set up. So that means you are not spending anything out of your pocket to cover co-op on things that you're claiming to us. The only place that this program is going to impact you is if you hit your total GeoElite budget. That's the only time that you're going to have some money come out of your pocket. And this is an example of how it would work. Let's say the dealer spent $10,000. Just remember, it's the same example. They bought $100,000, and let's say they spent $10,000 on advertising. Then you are paying them $5,000, 50% up to max. His budget from you is $5,000 because it's 5% co-op. You paid him $5,000. The problem is I'm paying you $4,000 because you hit the max there. But the tricky part that I'd put a note on here that I'll add back is I am not tracking your GeoElite co-op budget by dealer. I'm only tracking your total GeoElite co-op. So if one dealer spends some more and one dealer spends less and you do not hit the max, your scenario still looks like 50-50 without anything coming out of your pocket. So Roger, to answer your question, and I know you're still on mute, this program should not cost anything out of pocket from you going forward. The only time is if you hit your max, you have 1% of your total sales coming out of your pocket. But by the way, this was the same case with 2% co-op. I set my budget based on how much you bought. You gave the dealer budget based on how much they bought. The margin was always a difference. So technically nothing's changed. I'm picking up all the cost, that 50% of the total advertising, and the $1,800 helps cover some of that cost. I'm going to stop now and ask you to raise your hand and ask any questions. Roger, I saw your hand go up. I'm trying to remove the ones. Okay, there we go. Roger, you're off of mute. Go ahead.
All right, buddy. Okay, so I get it. I understand. It's a fund. It's not tracked by individual dealers, so that makes more sense on the co-op side. There's less liability on our end. I will tell you, just between you and me and the fence post and whoever else is listening, that we bill our dealers, our Amana dealers, every month for $800 to force them to advertise. When they produce receipts, we co-op at 100%. But they got to spend at least that much. We'll give them that credit back for that $800.
And that's kind of where we got the idea from. I know Train charges their dealers, and Train does it from the factory directly with the dealer. We wanted to do in the middle. And I know other brands, they have the distributor figure out how much they want to charge their dealers. It sounds like that's what Amana is doing, and you decided on the $800.
Yeah, we picked the number, we force them, and it should be about a sixth of what we really want them to spend a month in advertising, but it's something to get them off the hump.
Well, and the key thing for all of you to understand is this is, I don't know if you realize how our co-op system is set up. There is no extra out of pocket from you except unless you hit the budget that we've assigned you. And if you guys are doing that much advertising, when you get to that end point, let's at least have a chat to see what we can do to help you out. Because I expect 99% of the case you are not going to hit that maximum budget for that GeoElite dealer. If you do, have a conversation with your district manager. Let them come to John Bailey and me. We'll see what we can do. Because if you're kicking ass, if you're getting our name out there and you're doing advertising, then we may say, you know what, we'll pick up a little more of the cost here because you're doing such a kick-ass job. Did I just say kick ass on a webinar? Okay. I don't see anyone else raising their hands. Roger, does this kind of elevate some of the concerns you had?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay, good. Now, the other thing that I forgot to put a slide on, and I will before we send this out, is this. The question is, how do you justify the $1,800 with a dealer? And here's kind of how the math works. And if I stumble all over this, shame on me, but raise your hand and correct me. So let's say they're buying at least 15 units from you a year, and I'm just using the 15 units. And let's say they're buying them for an average of 5,000 units from you. And this is kind of the math we based it on. So they are buying, if I can do my math right, $750,000 worth of product from 75. I knew I'd screw up one of the zeros. So they're buying $75,000 worth of product from you, and now they're getting 3% more co-op from you. They don't know I'm funding it, right? So that is how much? 3,000, 2,250. Right there at the minimum, they're getting $2,250 more of co-op just at that 3% level at the budget. Yes, I understand that they have to spend that much to match it, but that's just the co-op. The next thing is when we start generating even more leads and better leads, that's a benefit. And one thing we don't track is dealers that go on the dealer locator and, consumers go on the dealer locator and find dealers. Them coming up first is got to have a certain lead generation benefit where we are not capturing that lead. And then there's decals. But the big one, and that could turn out to be expensive from our point of view, is the 100% satisfaction guarantee, where they can, and I'll walk you through the steps. If they're done the right steps, they can now tell the homeowner, "I'll pull the unit if you have problems." Let's kind of go on to that side. Okay. One other thing, and this is very, very important, and I'll ask the district managers and everybody on the phone to make sure we understand this. Because we haven't set up a separate co-op for GeoElite, what we are going to ask you to do is to submit your co-op through the normal process, but in the description, mention that it's a GeoElite claim and who the GeoElite dealer is in the description in the maximum 255 characters here. So in this maximum box. And so you put it in there, and then what Caleb's going to do on our side is he's going to submit that claim like it's normal. So the accounting side, the credit side is all the same. Nothing's different. But when the credit happens and the credit gets sent to you, he'll get that back, and he's going to have a spreadsheet where he's maintaining kind of like your bank account balance, a savings account and a checking account. He's going to say, okay, this claim was against the 2% co-op, this claim was against GeoElite, and he's going to kind of maintain a balance of what your balance is. So at any point in time, if you want to know what the split of the balances on your GeoElite versus 2% is, email the GeoElite dealer email address that I'm going to share with you that's on the documents, or Caleb, let me put that, Caleb, and Caleb will send you what the split of your balance is. So you will see your total balance on the website, but the split between the two you need to email us for. That is something we're going to try to fix. I just don't know what the fix looks like to promise that it'll actually happen. Next slide is, okay, this is 100% satisfaction guarantee, and sorry if it's a little crowded, but I want to make sure we hit all the key points. It covers the equipment only. It doesn't cover loops. It doesn't cover accessories. It doesn't cover the ductwork and so on. And the way it works, and I wish I had shown this a little different, is you're giving the dealer would give the consumer what dollar amount they'll get refunded if they can't fix the problem. They can include their labor in it if they want to, but all the dealer is going to get back from the distributor is the cost of the equipment from the distributor. And as a distributor, you can choose how you want to give that to the dealer. Do you want to give them their original price, or if you want to just give them a free unit to cover it? We will let you decide how you want to give the dealer. What you're going to get from us when this is approved is a credit for a like-to-like model. So let's say the unit was bought from, you bought the unit from us 18 months ago, it was installed 6 months ago, and it's just been a problem child. Then instead of, and there may have been a price increase in the middle, we don't want to give you less money. So what we are setting it up such that we will give you a credit for a like-to-like unit, and you can use that unit to buy another unit. So you can decide, am I going to refund him back, the dealer back, the purchase price of the unit, or you'll say, I'll give you a like-to-like unit or a credit for a like-to-like unit that you can use within a certain period of time. The next one is, the most important condition is that here's how this is going to play out, and I wish I'd drawn it out different. When the dealer is sitting with the homeowner, they must fill out the homeowner registration form. And you need to send us an email, or you can even give the dealers this email, GeoElite dealers this email. They must email us with their information, and we will mail them pre-printed forms with their name on it and a continuous number so that we can track these forms. So they will receive pre-printed forms, and an example of it is in the distributor document we sent in the e-news. So they will get a pre-printed form. They have to fill the form out and either fax it or email it to this email address, and we have to put it in our database for them to be able to come back and make a claim. So it's kind of like an extended warranty. They have to buy the extended warranty to make a claim against it. This is the same kind of thing. They have to fill the form and send it to us, and we will register it for them to be able to make a claim. Hopefully that's clear. Now let's deal with how we would deal with it if we have a claim. So if a consumer has a complaint, the number one condition on the guidelines and on the form is the unit has a problem. It can't be, it's too noisy, right? Unless there's something wrong with the unit to make it too noisy. But it's too noisy, or I'm not comfortable, or I'm not getting air in that corner. Those don't qualify for 100% satisfaction guarantee claim from us. Now, as a dealer, you may use that opportunity to go fix the problem and make that homeowner happy, so you get more referrals. But the guarantee doesn't claim it. The second step is the dealer and the distributor need to really try to correct the problem. And if you say, you know what, this thing's not going to get fixed, we really need to pull this unit, then what you do is you're going to there's a 100% satisfaction claim form that is linked in this PowerPoint, and there will be a link in the PDF that I send you, and we have put it on the Business Center. You fill out that form, so who's the consumer, who's the tech you've talked to with us, and basically, if you don't have anything else, at least you need to have a checklist of the startup form, the troubleshooting form, and the service history documents, and you need to get them to the ClimateMaster Warranty Administrator. If I were you, I would get the district manager involved up front and also copy the GeoElite dealer at climatemaster.com email address so the GeoElite people are involved. And for the people who have dealt with our ClimateMaster warranty administration, you'll know why I'm saying that. So you send the form, the startup form, the troubleshooting form, the service history, send us all the documents, and we are going to try to turn around the decision on that within 2 or 3 business days, assuming all the documentation is there. Now, here's where this is going to get murky, and I want to deal with it right up front, which is the unit's kind of okay, it can be fixed, it's within a gray area, but we really don't want to keep going back to this homeowner. The right thing is to pull the unit. Get the district manager, the GeoElite administrator through this email address, and Donna involved, and we will deal with those gray areas, but don't wait till it's become a big problem. Deal with it up front, where you go, here's all the information you need. You may want more information and a lot of things to confirm that the unit's bad. But it's been a problem. Let's fix this, and get the district manager and the warranty administrator, the GeoElite administrator involved. So if we need to do something, we can take care of the problem quickly and not go through the root canal sometimes that we have with these kind of issues. I hope I used the word root canal correctly there. Once approved, the way it will work is we will issue a credit to you for the like-to-like unit, and then you refund the dealer their money, and the homeowner refunds, the dealer refunds the homeowner their money. Now, the other thing I want to be cautious about, and I want to make sure the district managers who are online hear this, is if at any point this thing seems like it's taking a lot of time, let's figure out another way to fix the problem and deal with the warranty side later. So I'm trying to keep this thing a little bit flexible to make sure that we take care of our customers, because at the end of the day, the intention of the program is make homeowners comfortable with the purchase they're making, and also kind of keep up our side of the commitment the best we can. The consumer satisfaction survey, just shifting gears a little bit, we're kind of still putting the form together, and the way it will be administered is we will email the homeowner based on the registration form that you send us. So consumers for whom we get the 100% satisfaction form, those are the consumers who will get the survey. And we will send them an email survey, and we may even follow up with a phone call to get their feedback on their experience. And of all the questions, the main question is going to be what's their overall satisfaction with the dealer and the installation. If the rating is below 80%, kind of like what we do with a lead, this will be like a service follow-up. We will send that information to the dealer and say, please work with the homeowner to fix the issue. Let us know. We'll go resurvey them. If they're above 80%, then you're out of the clear. But if it's below 80% and you have X number of below 80%, then we're going to have a conversation through the district manager with the distributor about removing that dealer from the list. So that's the satisfaction guarantee. The truck decals, we've had, I don't know how many of you know this, we've had a truck decal program for a while. Only a few of you have taken benefit of it. So what we're doing is like part of the $1,800 cost, and we're not setting any limit, and this is one of the things that may change for 2014 if we see that something's not working, is send an email address, look it up on the system, send an email to this email address about the truck decals that you want, and we will get those truck decals shipped directly to the dealer. You just need to tell us what's the dealer number and name so that we have the address to mail it to, and what's the decal number. And Caleb sitting in front of me. We will set up also some GeoElite decals and put them in inventory there. I don't expect the process to take more than 2 to 3 weeks between when you order to when you get, but that's something we're going to have to learn as we go along. The last thing is there's a lot of things we've introduced, and I'll be the first to admit it's been a little bit all over the place. So I want to just walk you through what I talked about and which document you can go to get the same information. So you have the benefits and you have the criteria. The benefits, criteria, the homeowner registration form, and the agreement, all that information is in the GeoElite Program distributor guideline document where there's a link to it here. Now we just uploaded this document. This link may not work for another hour or so, but it's there. It was also attached as part of your e-news that we sent out. So that's kind of your Bible on the program itself. But what we didn't do is we did not include the 100% satisfaction claiming process as part of that document. We kept it separate because I want to see how it works and see if we need to tweak that before we make it official. So the second document here is what's the form for the 100% satisfaction guarantee and kind of the guidelines. And also in the same presentation, I also have an Excel sheet here. I don't know if you can see my mouse, but here's the form in Excel if you want to do it in Excel, and we will upload that soon as well. So that's the second document. The third one, and this is the one that you can share with your dealers, unless you have an issue with the 15-unit minimum or something like that. Here's the stock product brochure that you can share with the dealers who you want to have GeoElite to kind of outline the program, the requirements, and we also have the agreement on there. So if you want to just use that to take a signature and use that document back, we are okay with that. One other thing we will do is we will have a Word document of the same brochure. So you, maybe not. I was just thinking about it. You can use the PDF and modify it if you want to use it for your use. So bottom line is this is your program to your dealers with some minimum requirements. You can modify and add anything to this as you put it out. You can increase the requirements. You just cannot decrease the requirements. And as I think as Sean brought up, if based on your business, if you have an issue with some of the requirements, contact your district manager. They'll work with us to see if you want to be a little flexible or not. Of course, the overarching issue is going to be if you have overlapping distributors, then we have to be consistent with the requirements with you, so that you can go to the market with with consistent requirements from us. If you want to pile on more, that's your prerogative and that's your creativity. So in conclusion, GeoElite dealers are ClimateMaster premium dealers who are willing to invest in growth. That's partly what the $1,800 is about. We're assuming if somebody's going to shell out $1,800 out of their pocket, even though there's benefit on the other side, they are serious about growing their business. We're putting some industry-first benefits: 100% satisfaction guarantee, 5% co-op, elite status, free decals. We're putting these benefits in place to help our dealers grow their business, but more importantly, help our distributors hold on to our dealers given the competitive landscape. And the last one is they must sell 15 units or more. They must be trained. We want them to be loyal. They sign an agreement that explaining what this relationship is between ClimateMaster and the dealer, and they pay the fees. And again, the relationship between ClimateMaster is with the distributor and distributor with the dealer. We just have that agreement in place to make sure that we cover any liabilities and we don't get sued for something that the dealer does. So that's conclusion and the end of what I wanted to talk about. As people who know me know that I usually take twice as much time to say the same thing, so I apologize if this thing went on longer. But if you could raise your hand if you have any questions, I'd love to answer any questions. But more importantly, and this is something I want you to hear, this is our program. This is the distributor and our program. If you think something's not working, approach us. I'm not promising that we'll make the change, but we want your feedback. We will not take it as a complaint. We won't take it as anything else other than feedback. If we can make tweaks to make this a lot more effective for you, I want that feedback, taking our view and perspective. Some of them we may do, some of them we may not, but we want to hear from you. So you can use the GeoElite dealer email address for that feedback. You can come through your district managers. Many of you know me. You can come to me. But I would really prefer you come through the district manager because they have responsibility over other distributors, and they can be my voice of customer to go see what others want to do, and I want them to be central in this process. So if you have any questions, please raise your hand. We'll stay online for another couple of minutes. If there's no questions, then I'll conclude in another minute or so. One of the questions, I just finally found the question that had been asked before. We will only ask you to report the GeoElite dealer sales once a year so you basically are going to be re-registering dealers every year into the program. And that the idea is we want to make sure that they haven't moved to the competition or you're not seeing the sales or something like that. So we'll only ask for you to report it once a year with that registration. Mike asked a very valid question. Half-year fee, is it still $1,800? Let's deal with that on a case-to-case basis because I haven't thought it through. At this point, just to be clear, I expect $1,800 to be what you pay to buy into the program for 2013. But let's say we're in August and we have a really good dealer coming on board. We can look at either prorating, but the thing is we set up this as a part number with a fixed price. What we may have to do is you place the PO, but we write you a sales concession to offset that cost or something like that. So I'll say it's $1,800, But don't stop that from bringing dealers to the table. Bring them to the district manager. We'll see if we want to prorate it somehow once we get into that part of the year. And one of the other questions is freight or tax included in the total price for replacement? Wow. Joe, why do you always come up with the toughest questions? I'm joking, and I'm putting you off mute so you can laugh with me. Assuming it's only 6 or 8%, Joe saying sorry. Joe, you're off mute, so you can say it in person too. No. I really want the tough questions. I even made a mistake even joking about it. It is not. It is. We will refund you whatever you paid us for it, plus if the price has changed. So it does not include tax or freight. But on a case-by-case basis, let's see what we need to do, and I'll get the district managers involved to write a separate sales concession or something if we need to. Other question from Joe was, cannot see print on the bottom of the page, equipment cost, etc. Hey, Joe, you're still off mute. Can you come online and ask the question? You may be mute on your phone too.
You hear me?
Now I can hear you. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that was just an FYI for you. On one of the slides there, when you blow it up, we couldn't read the last sentence.
Okay. I'm going to send it as a PDF, then you should be able to see it.
Okay. One of my distributors also asked a question the other day. As far as leads, what are we doing different from last year about getting better leads and qualifying leads? What are we doing different moving forward from the previous year?
I'm glad you asked the question, and I'm going to put you on mute as I answer. You can ask more questions in that same window.
Okay.
So I'm glad you asked, because this is a perfect group to get up to speed on what we're trying to do. I think I need to take 2 years into perspective to answer that question. If you look at our advertising and lead generation from 2009 to 2011, basically what we did was we focused on, when we started the program, we were focused on building awareness. That was our objective. And the best vehicle for delivering awareness is TV to start with, which is a lot more expensive. But then print media is your next best alternative to push the message out there, get in front of people's eyes. So what's happened is, what we did was we started doing print advertising. As we start getting through that process, we realized, you know what, lead generation is also a really important component of it. So we kind of evolved a process of trying to turn inquiries from those ads, because we put an 800 number on there and website, into leads for dealers. And what we realized was, so our focus started shifting from awareness into generating leads. So we didn't start from the point of generating leads. So that was one of the issues. So as we went through it, we realized, wait a minute, if we're focusing more on leads, print may not be the best media, because a lot of eyeballs looking at it, even if they look at it, go waste. What's the best way to generate leads is to capture people when they are looking for a heating, cooling, comfort solution. So we decided to move our spend to digital, and I'll explain what digital is, and we took it out of print. So through 2011, the, quote, leads that you're getting from ClimateMaster were really inquiries from consumers. And some of the complaints was the quality of the lead wasn't that good, because all they were doing was looking for information. They were living in an apartment or something, and it was not suitable. So in 2012, we kind of took our foot off the gas on the print advertising, assuming that the digital marketing was going to take over. Well, the digital marketing, a little bit like our product development, has taken a little longer than what we expected. So we now have a new website that is built around being found on the web. So we are really focusing on search engine optimization and around keywords that consumers are looking for when they're looking for a geothermal product. So we are going to continue to invest on the digital marketing side to build the strength of our consumer website on Google. So for the keywords that we have targeted, we come up first or second or third on that search, and we get a lot more clicks from consumers. Now, as with any type of advertising, like most of our people on the phone have been involved with, you don't know if it's going to work or not. So that's kind of the phase we're in, is we're starting to pump content, pump our different activity into the website to make it stronger around the keywords that we have picked. But we're really, really strongly hoping that it's going to turn into a lot of leads. And that's number one. Number two is we're also changing the form on the website so that we can qualify the leads a little bit based on when they're going to buy, and maybe even following up with them to find out more information before we pass them on to dealers. We have not implemented that yet, but our intent is to implement it. So what may happen is the number of leads or inquiries that dealers are seeing may go down because we're putting a stronger filter on it, but the leads coming out of it are better. I hate to be that guy, but I am being that guy, which is it's coming, being like a politician, but that's really where we are. But we are investing in more digital marketing to gain, to generate more leads in the field. Another thing that we're going to go try to do in a few markets, and this is the people whose markets we're going to do this in will know about it, is try different traditional vehicles to do lead generation, like radio, maybe even play with TV, print, local digital, to see what works. And we want to feed that knowledge back to our distributors and our dealers, including the GeoElite dealers, to say, in this market we tried this, this is what worked, and give a little more guidance and pump a little more money into local marketing instead of national marketing. That's coming down the pike. Well, first we are going to run the experiment to see what works and what doesn't work, and then follow up with guidelines and ideas on how we can do more local marketing. So those are the two things that we're doing different. More and lot more digital marketing and catching people when they start looking for something that's related to geothermal. Second is trying to develop more knowledge and experience in local marketing so that we can partner better with our distributors and dealers to do more local marketing, laser focus on generating leads. As I said, I usually take twice as long to explain the same dang thing, so I apologize that took longer. Hopefully that helped answer it. Is Brian Stahl on the call? I don't see, Brian, your name. Whichever computer you're calling from, can you raise your hand, or let me see what I can do. I see John raised your hand. John, I'm taking you off mute. John Ogle, you raise your hand. You may be on mute on your phone. Roger, I see your hand come up. John, I'll come back to you right away. Roger, you're off mute.
Yeah, buddy, I just want to let you know that I got to leave you. I got something coming up here, and I got to get moving. So a lot of good information. I'm sure we'll talk about it here in the near future.
Absolutely. Thanks, Roger. Hey, Joe. I'm hearing echo. I'm not seeing Brian or Jay on the list. If they raise their hand, I can have.
Yeah, Brian Stahl's question.
Sorry, Joe, I accidentally muted you. Can you start again?
Brian Stahl had a question. His question was, if you had to get into the refrigerant circuit, would that be an automatic replacement?
I'm putting you on mute because I'm hearing Nico. I would not say that's an automatic qualification for replacing the unit, but what I would suggest is, without raising the dealer's expectations, let's give me one real case when that happens, and let's just run it as an experiment between Brian and us to see how we can push the envelope on this. But don't raise the dealer's expectation. Don't tell the dealer you're working on it. Just pick an example when, let's say, Brian goes to a job and he finds a situation, have him submit it through the 100% claim process, and I want to see how it goes through and what issues we see. And that applies to everyone. Work with your district manager, push the limits on how this program works, and let's see what works and what doesn't. While that may seem a little irresponsible on my part to say that, the 100% satisfaction runs through the warranty process, and it's a warranty claim. It's not a sales concession. It's a warranty claim, and I want to make sure that that's somewhat possibly out of my preview. So I want to take a real case, run with it, and tweak this as we go along. And that is exactly why I have not published publicly as part of the guidelines the requirements for 100% satisfaction claim, because I think it's going to evolve a little bit before it's final. Okay, Joe, I see that you said okay. If you have no other questions, please raise your hand if you think your question wasn't answered. If I don't hear from anyone in 20 seconds, we will end the webinar. I appreciate you all joining us and taking the time, and I really hope this is a program that we can use to not only hold on to our big loyal dealers, but help grow the business in your market with local marketing and better customer service. Thank you all, and have a great morning.